Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hope you're all having a great day and are staying safe. In today's video, I'm going to be helping you to diagnose squealing braids. Now you're pulling the braids and they're just pulling right through. So that's what I'm going to be helping you with today in this video. If you like what you see, subscribe, leave a like, share the video, and yeah, let's just jump into it. So as we may all know, brakes are very important. Without brakes you can't stop your bike, so obviously you have to make sure that your brakes are running correctly, working well, and yeah, because you need to be riding safe. So there are two main types of brakes. We have disc brakes and we have rim brakes. With the rim brakes, it's kind of self-explanatory. The brakes lock onto the rim in order to lock up the back wheel, and with the disc brakes, pretty simple. There's a disc that's on the wheel which the brakes lock onto in order to lock up the wheel. So this trick I'm going to show you is going to help with both brakes. So it doesn't really matter if you have this or if you have rim brakes. This tip that I'm going to share with you is going to help with both of them. Okay, so these are the items I'm going to be using in this video in order to bring my brakes back to life. So what usually happens is that sometimes, especially when working on the rear wheel, people like to spray WD-40 and all types of lubricants onto their sprocket, but sometimes they forget about the disc, and what happens is that some of that oil or grease or whatever they put in on the chain gets over here on the disc, and obviously if any oil or anything gets onto it, then when you press the brakes, the oil is going to prevent it from locking up. A good thing to do is to wash your hands with the soap and make sure there are no greases or anything on your fingers before you start touching up things, or you can just wear a pair of gloves. That will also help. First thing I do is I take the alcohol, and the reason I use alcohol is because alcohol evaporates way faster than water. So what I'll do is I'll just spray some alcohol onto the surface of the brake, and then I'll spray some onto the tissue, get it soaked, and then I'll use the tissue and I'll squeeze it like this, and I'll go all around, removing all the grease, oil, brake residue, everything. Just get it all nice and clean, and that's where we're gonna start. Like I said, this evaporates quickly, so you just want to keep spraying it on and trying to get rid of whatever is on there. Alright, you're using the tissue, and remember, you don't really want to be rubbing the grease on the tissue back into it, so you want to flip the tissue as you go around, trying to get clean spots. You may need a lot of tissue according to how much grease or oil is on your surface. For me, I didn't have much on here, so it didn't take much to get this done, but for some people, if you have a lot of stuff on there, what you have to do, a good little trick, is to get a piece of sandpaper and just sand down on the outside here and on the inside as well. So make sure to get both sides. If you get a piece of sandpaper, you can fold it over and just get a little bit of sand, just sand it for a little, which will rough up the surface, giving the brake pads a good nice rough surface to grip and hold on to. For those of you who have the rim brakes, same thing apply. You take the alcohol, you spray all around your rim, all around the rim, and then you come in with the tissue and you rub and get rid of whatever is going to be on your rim. Also, you don't just want to stop there, you want to go further. You have to also clean the brake pads. If the disc or the rim got contaminated, then obviously the pads are contaminated also. So you may just realize, okay, I cleaned off my disc or I cleaned off my rim and the brakes still are not working. That's because the oil or the grease or whatever it is also got onto the pads as well. So you need to clean off the pads, because you just be working for nothing. Basically, you're just gonna rub that grease that has been caught on your pads right back onto the surface of the disc or on the wheel. I'm gonna remove this pin right here, like that. Remove the pin, and then what you're gonna do is push the brakes out. So you're just gonna push them like that. Then you're gonna take them and grab them kind of hard to do with one hand. But yeah, once you get them out, this is what you have. This is where this piece of sponge thingy comes in, or you can use the one at the back of the sponge. Just make sure whatever you use, it's not greasy or oily or anything, but you just want something with a rough surface. And what you're gonna do, you're gonna take the alcohol and you're gonna spray the alcohol. As you can see, there's a spot here. This is from when I cleaned mine yesterday. So what you're gonna do is just spray the alcohol on this and on this. Just rub this against this, which is gonna get rid of all that residue and old oily stuff off of your pads. And then you just put them back in and the job is done. For the people that have rim brakes, the pads are really easy to change and they're not that expensive. One of the best things you could do is change your pads, or what you can do, a rough piece of cement like this and just rough up the rubber and try to get off that top layer that has the oil that's contaminated. Or what you can do is get a knife and very carefully, this is not for these kind of brakes, this is for the regular brakes with the rubber pads. This is not rubber, so obviously I can't do it with this. Get a sharp knife and just cut off the top, just shave off a thin layer off the top of it, and that should do the trick. So if any of these tricks didn't work, another thing you could do, if the alcohol didn't work for you, try using brake cleaner. I never used brake cleaner, but I know someone who did and it definitely worked. But just a quick fix that you can do at home is using surgical or rubbing alcohol. And definitely don't use hand sanitizer, because hand sanitizer, though it has in alcohol, it also has in most of them has in like some kind of moisturizer in it. So yeah, obviously that wouldn't work. So try to stay away from using hand sanitizer to do this job. Just get pure alcohol, that's it, just alcohol. And yeah, so hopefully this worked, hopefully your brake's working again. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.